Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my videos. Gonna be giving you my starting 11 prediction for our game against Brighton. So, in goal, I'm gonna go with David De Gea. Now, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has made his goalkeeper decision. He's gonna stick with Henderson or De Gea for the remainder of the season. Dean Henderson has started our last 6 games. Quite a few weeks ago now, David De Gea was out due to personal reasons. And at one point he was self-isolating. Now I think we should sell David De Gea in the summer transfer window, because I reckon he's had his years at Manchester United. This is his 10th season at the football club, so he has been a long servant. He's made over 500 appearances in all competitions and he's won everything domestically. A few years ago he was regarded as the best goalkeeper in the world, but in the last couple of years he's made calamitous mistakes, and reflecting on that he's become a liability. De Gea has 2 years left on his current contract and he's on £375,000 a week. I think there's a good chance that De Gea will go back to Spain. Main explanations is because he was born in Spain, his relatives are from Spain, his girlfriend's from Spain. He began his footballing career in Spain, and back in 2015 he was very close to joining Real Madrid, but due to a fax machine the deal never materialised. But yeah, I think we're going to go with De Gea in goal for this one. We could stick with Dean Henderson. Now, at right back, I'm going to go with Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka has been impressive in some games this season, where he's showed good attacking intent. He's got into good crossing positions. Defensively, he's been superb more or less. But he's also enjoyed poor games where he's been caught out far too many times and he's lacked that attacking intent. Wan-Bissaka's performances need to be good persistently and he needs to show more attacking intent. We got him in a deal worth £50 million from Crystal Palace in the summer of 2019. I think he's got a long-term future at Manchester United. I think he could possibly emulate into the next Gary Neville. Now, the two centre-halves, I'm going to go with Eric Bailly and Harry Maguire. To be honest with you, I think Eric Bailly and Harry Maguire do complement each other in our back line. I prefer Bailly alongside Maguire than Lindelof alongside Maguire, put it that way. Bailly hasn't actually played for a while. But Bailly is a good centre-half. He intercepts the ball well. He shows the ability to play out from the back. Defensively good, and he's very effective in the air. My only element of concern about Bailly is injury prone, so in that aspect he is a liability. Now, it recently said contract talks are on hold for Eric Bailly because Bailly wants assurances over his playing time. Now, Bailly recently apologised to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and his Man United teammates for his disrespectful behaviour, because it said Bailly was furious with Solskjaer because he felt disrespected and not wanted by him, and he believes we're only offering him a new contract to simply increase his asking price. Bailly's got like 15 months left on his current contract. We got him from Villarreal back in 2016 for £30 million. Harry Maguire, he has done well in some games this season where he's been good defensively, he's been good from set pieces, he's showed the ability to play out from the back and he's been quite good in the air and he's made some good clearances, but he's also enjoyed some poor games. But I can assure Harry Maguire wasn't worth the £80 million we got him for. At left back, I'm going to go with Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw has been superb this season. He's been player of the season by far. The last time I read up, it says that Man United are willing to offer him a new contract and we're preparing to enter contract talks. Luke Shaw's got, 2 years left on his current contract. I think Shaw's had a good career at Manchester United apart from his injuries. He's been at the club now over 6 years. But Luke Shaw's got forward well. He's created chances for his teammates, provided width, and defensively he's been superb. Luke Shaw didn't start the game against Leicester in the FA Cup quarter-final before the international break. The midfield, I'm going to go with Paul Pogba and Fred. I'm expecting Paul Pogba to start this game against Brighton. We have been getting the best out of Paul Pogba in recent months. Don't forget he come on against Milan in the second leg, made an instant impact and scored the goal that got us to the quarterfinals of the Europa League. Pogba brings creativity to the team, and I think he's more effective on the left-hand side, in a more of an advanced role. But disregarding Paul Pogba, we lack creativity and we are far too defensive. Now, it looks very likely that Pogba's going to be leaving Man United in the summer transfer window, because Paul Pogba still wants to quit Manchester United and he's rejected a new contract. DiMarzio recently come out and said that Pogba has got no intentions of extending his contract at Manchester United, and his preferred destination is Juventus. I did say there's a good chance he'll go back to Juventus because he enjoyed 4 very good years with them before he rejoined Man United. Juventus want a Paul Pogba swap deal. Now, it recently said Juventus offered us Paulo Dybala in a swap deal for Pogba, and it also said they was willing to offload the likes of Adrian Rabiot and Aaron Ramsey to afford Pogba. And Fabrizio Romano, who's a very reliable Italian journalist and close to Man United, he said that Juventus are refusing to give up on re-signing Pogba. Reports from the Italian press said earlier on this season that Juventus tried to offer us 4 players in exchange for Paul Pogba. But he's had a long-running transfer saga. He's also been linked to Real Madrid before, and PSG have been in for him. But if he stays potentially past the summer, then it's likely we'll lose him on a free next year. Because earlier on this season we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract, so he's under contract with Man United until June 2022. Ollie did say earlier on this season that he's hopeful that Paul Pogba will stay and sign a new contract. We was in negotiations with Paul Pogba over a new contract, and Solskjaer suggested earlier on this season he could sign a new contract. Mini Oriola is obviously being desperate to get his client out of the football club. Don't forget, Mini Oriola recently criticised Sir Alex Ferguson for forcing Paul Pogba out of the club when he was younger. All United fans, I presume, disagree with Mini Oriola criticising Ferguson. And Mini Oriola's also recently come out and said he doesn't give a fuck if he never takes another player to Manchester United again, as long as his clients are happy. But Mini Oriola doesn't have a good relationship with Man United, and he's been criticised a lot. And he did say, though, earlier on this season he's got no intentions of destabilising his client's season at Man United, and he made an admission saying that he's working quietly on Paul Pogba's transfer. Back in December he made an announcement regarding Pogba, and Solskjaer was furious with Mini Oriola's announcement. As it stands at the moment, Pogba's our most expensive signing, paid £89 million for him, and this is his 5th season at the football club. since he rejoined. Pogba's won 3 trophies at the club so far. That's the Europa League, the League Cup and the Community Shield. But he was out with a thigh injury, wasn't he, for a while? He had an ankle injury earlier on this season. He was out for the vast majority of last season with an ankle injury. But yeah, very imperative player. I'd like him to stay potentially past the summer. But we need to try and find an adequate replacement for him. But yeah, Fred, he's got to bounce back in this game because he was absolutely abysmal against Leicester in the FA Cup quarter-final. Gave the ball away countless times, and he was accountable for Leicester's first goal. It was Fred's worst game in a Manchester United shirt. Fred certainly wasn't worth the £52 million we got him for from Shakhtar Donetsk. He's had some good games at Man United, but he's not on that level as yet. I would keep Fred potentially past the summer. Now, ahead of them two, I'm going to go with Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes didn't actually start, did he? Against Leicester, if I can remember rightly. I think we've overplayed Bruno Fernandes, to be honest with you, because there's been a few games where he has looked fatigued. But earlier on this season, Bruno Fernandes denied that he needed a rest because he wants to help the club win trophies. In most of his games at Man United, he's been very consistent, but there's also been quite a few games where he's looked off the pace. He's our best player and he's the best signing we have made since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. Fernandes has been at Man United now over a year. He's won Player of the Month quite a few times, reflecting on his good performances. And he's won Player of the Month quite a few times. He's won Player of the Month quite a few times, reflecting on his good performances. It said earlier on this season that Bruno Fernandes was refusing to sign a new contract until he had assurances over our transfer plans for the summer. Bruno Fernandes' current contract expires in 2025. There's an option to extend for a further 12 months. It says was prepared to double his wages to £200,000 a week. We initially paid £47 million for him, but the overall cost with add-ons is just over £67 million. On the left-hand side, I'm going to go with Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford's actually got an injury at the moment. He's sustained a few injuries now, so he has actually become a bit injury prone. I think we need to keep Marcus Rashford on that left-hand side because that's where he's more effective. A few times we've played him on the right wing and a few times we've played him centrally. He's a good player, Rashford. You know, he's been part of the club for several years. He's been a United player since the age of 7 and he's been in our senior squad since 2016. On the right-hand side, I'm going to go with Mason Greenwood. Mason Greenwood's actually got a knock at the moment. Greenwood, he's done very, very well since he broke into our first team squad. Greenwood made his senior debut in 2019. He's been a United player since the age of 7, so he's been with us a long time now. Earlier on this season, Greenwood signed a new 4-year contract with the club. But Ole has been defending him a lot this season. At the start of this season, we're giving that number 11 shirt. So him on the right, yeah. And up top, I'm going to go with Edison Cavani. Now, it looks like Edison Cavani is leaving Manchester United in the summer transfer window. We recently held talks with Edison Cavani over his future at the club. We want to convince him to stay for next season. The Uruguay coach recently urged Edison Cavani to leave. Edison Cavani's current contract expires in June. We do have an option to trigger his contract for a further year. Football Insider said a few weeks ago that Edison Cavani had reached a verbal agreement to join Boca Juniors at the end of the season. We'll let him go in the summer. We won't receive a transfer fee for him. Solskjaer did say earlier on this season that Cavani was closer to Boca Juniors than staying at Manchester United, and his father came out and said that he's unhappy and he's not comfortable in England and he wants to leave. And prior to that, reports from Argentina said that Edison Cavani has decided to leave after one season. Cavani sustained a few injuries at Man United, but I think he's made a fantastic... Wait a second. He's made a fantastic impact since he's come in. We got him on a free transfer last summer. He signed a 1-year contract with Man United with an option of a second year. So that's how I think we could line up against Brighton on Sunday night. Now, obviously, we lost our last game against Leicester in the FA Cup quarter-final. The score was 3-1. And it was an abysmal performance by Manchester United. The only positive from Man United perspective in that game against Leicester was Mason Greenwood's goal. But Solskjaer actually said he had no regrets over the team selection against Leicester, because a lot of United fans were saying, why did he rest our two best players? Why didn't he start them? But I think Solskjaer was totally blameless in that 3-1 defeat to Leicester. You know, Leicester fully deserved the win. You know, they dominated the game, they created chances. There was a lot of good performers from Leicester. Obviously, Iheanacho scored 2 goals. Youri Tielemans got the other goal. So Leicester progressed to the FA Cup semi-final for the first time since like 1982. So we've got to bounce back in this game against Brighton. Now, we have beaten Brighton twice this season. We're beating them 3-0 in the EFL Cup at the Amex Stadium. And we're beating them 3-2 at the Amex Stadium in the Premier League. That was near the start of this season. The last time we played Brighton at Old Trafford, we beaten them 3-1. But Brighton have beaten us a couple of times. Obviously at the Amex, the once beat us 3-2 and the once beat us 1-0. Brighton are currently sitting 16th in the Premier League. Their current manager is Graham Potter. I think Graham Potter taken over Brighton in 2019. So he's been there now a couple of years. Before Brighton, he was at Swansea. And before then, he was at Östersund. Graham Potter was in charge of Östersund for like 7 years. Brighton have got some good players in their team. Obviously, they've got Ben White, who I like a lot. You know, Man United have been interested in him. Lewis Dunk, he's very good. Tariq Lamptey, he's also good. He's actually out, I think, with injury at the moment. Danny Welbeck, they've also got him. I think he'll be in contention to play on Sunday night, so he'll be reuniting with Man United, because Welbeck is a former Man United player. They've also got Moises Caicedo. Didn't they bring him in January? Don't forget my club, Man United, went in for him. They've also got Maupay. I think Maupay is probably one of Brighton's best players. They've got Pascal Gross. At one point they did have Glenn Murray, but I think they let him go to Watford. He was a very good player for Brighton. They've got Trossard. He's also a good player. They've got Bissouma. He's good as well. Man United have been in for him before. They've also got Adam Lallana, who's good. Alzate's quite good. Alistair's quite good. Brighton have got a few injuries. Obviously, Connolly's out with injury. Adam Webster's out with injury. Solly March is out with injury. And Dunn's out with injury. And Tariq Lamptey is out with injury. Like I said, we've got some injuries as well. Like I said, Greenwood's got, I think, a knock. Lindelof, has he got a back problem? Rashford's got an injury. Martial, he's got an injury. Well, I think Juan Mata's still out, but he doesn't get in R11 anyway. Phil Jones is still out with injury. He's been out of injury for over a year. So yeah, they are a few of our players that are injured. After Brighton, it is Granada in the Europa League quarter-final. That's a big game for Manchester United. The Europa League is our only chance of winning any silverware this season. Solskjaer needs to win a trophy at Manchester United because that marks progress. He's not yet won a trophy as Man United manager, and we haven't won a trophy since 2017. And that's nowhere near good enough to our standards. Solskjaer did say though not so long ago that winning trophies can be an ego thing. He said that in regards to some other clubs and other managers, and he said clubs like Man United trophies no longer prove success, but in that aspect I've got to totally disagree with him. But Solskjaer is not going to be sacked even if we fail to win the Europa League this season. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has already agreed to sign a new 3-year contract at Man United worth 30 million. It's likely to be 2 years with an option of an extra one. Sources at Old Trafford did say a few weeks ago that talks were set to begin any day on the new deal, because Ollie is now into the final year of his current 3-year contract. A lot of United fans disagree with us giving him this new contract. Does he deserve a new contract? In some aspects, yeah. In some aspects, no. But there's a lot of Man United fans that are Ollie out. A lot of Ollie outs were trending on social media after our 3-1 defeat to Leicester. They've obviously got main explanations why they want him out, but I kind of sure Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not the long-term manager for Manchester United. I think he's probably our best manager since Ferguson, if I'm going to be honest with you. Even if we wanted to sack Solskjaer now, we probably wouldn't be able to anyway, because as far as I'm aware at the moment, no one's available. And plus, when we have been inconsistent, not all of the blame has stemmed from him. He's obviously accountable for some stuff. But I'm kind of sure, yeah, he will be Man United manager in the summer transfer window, and he'll be Man United manager next season. I said he probably deserves another season at the football club. Let's see how things go. But yeah, this year's summer transfer window is huge for Man United and Solskjaer. Solskjaer should get the backing he deserves now in the summer transfer window, because obviously we've got John Murtough. He's our director of football. And you know, John Murtough knows the club inside out because he's been at Man United since 2014. And obviously we've got Darren Fletcher, who's our technical director. Darren Fletcher endured 2 decades as a player for Man United, so he knows the club through thick and thin. And Woodward, he obviously believes that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the right man to lead the club forward. Woodward released a statement earlier on this season saying that the progress by Solskjaer and the players this season is clear. So in that aspect, he's backing him. But in general, Woodward's come out several times to show his support for Ole, even enduring them bad periods. I reckon Solskjaer needs at least £200 million in the summer transfer window if he is to get the right players into the club. He said our transfer budget had been revealed earlier on this season and it was £80 million. A lot of United fans were shocked in that aspect because we know £80 million is nowhere near enough for us to get the players we want in. I've already identified the weaknesses in the squad. We need a striker, we need a right winger, we need a defensive midfielder, and we also need a centre-half. But like I've already said, I'm expecting us to make around 3 or 4 signings. Ollie did warn earlier on this season that we may not do business as usual due to the pandemic, but he said he's interested in bringing in players that will be a perfect fit for the club. My next video, I'll be giving you an update on some more transfer news. Tomorrow as well, I'll be giving you my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference ahead of our game against Brighton. Our next league game after Brighton is Tottenham, and that's going to be a difficult game. Burnley's coming up soon, Leeds United's coming up soon, Liverpool's also coming up soon, so games are coming up thick and fast for Manchester United. I'm kind of sure we'll finish in the top 4 this season. I think there's a good chance we'll finish second, but I think a second place finish without the Europa League isn't good enough. If we can get the Europa League as well as second, I'll turn around and say that represents a good season for Man United, and that gives us something to build on going on into next season. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been Manchester United manager over 2 years. So reflecting how long he's been at the club, he's gained some managerial experience and he has learnt quite a bit on the job. But my 2 biggest concerns about Ole, he hasn't got a proven pedigree as a manager. And his decision making is also my other concern, because in a lot of his games at Man United he has been tactically naive, especially in a lot of the big games this season. But there's also been some games where he's showed tactical flexibility, but he doesn't show that persistently, does he? And I do reckon that Solskjaer is in a position he shouldn't be in. But so Ollie knew when he'd taken over at Man United it was going to be a massive job, despite him knowing the club well. The main explanation is still Man United manager, because he is a club legend. Disregarding being a club legend, I can almost assure he wouldn't have been here now. We've got to credit him in quite a few aspects. He's this season got us to the EFL Cup semi-final, got us to the FA Cup quarter-final, also got us to the Europa League quarter-final. And we've got a very good record away from home in the Premier League. We haven't lost away from home in the Premier League for over a year. Last season, in his first full season, guided us to 3 semi-finals, got us a 3rd place finish and got us qualification for the Champions League. Also went on a 19-game unbeaten run in all competitions last season, was 14 unbeaten in the Premier League. Solskjaer's also made good signings as Man United manager. He's spent almost £300 million at the club, and so far he's endured 4 transfer windows as permanent Man United manager. He's also got rid of a lot of players since he's coming in. We have enjoyed good periods under him where we have seen consistency. And I also like the way he has promoted the youth. But they're the positives. And in the last 8 years, nothing has changed at Manchester United, has it? We have been playing catch-up. I think mistakes have been made in the last 8 years, and that's one of the main explanations why we haven't been as consistent as we'd like to have been. You know what I mean? I definitely think the board's been one of the biggest problems at the club for a while, reflecting now poor our recruitment policies being we've overpaid for players, and the managers that we've had since Ferguson retired haven't got the players that they wanted to recommend in. You know, 3 managers have been sacked since Ferguson. That was David Moyes, who sacked him after 10 months. Worst manager we've ever had. Sacked Louis van Gaal after 2 years despite him winning the FA Cup. And we sacked Jose Mourinho after, 2.5 years? You know, Mourinho did win 3 trophies at the club, and I think he got a second in his first season. So you can say Mourinho enjoyed one good season. But we haven't been the same team since Ferguson retired. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013. I don't think Solskjaer's the right man to lead us to a Premier League title. You know. So yeah, so tomorrow I'll be on with some more videos. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always. And take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.